welcome back to Mark in 3 Minutes. We are finishing with Mark chapter 8 today. And last time we saw how Jesus healed a blind man. When he healed him, he began the healing process and asked the man, "What do you see?" And the man said, "Well, I see people, but they look like trees walking around." And then Jesus continued the miracle, and the man could see fully. In today's text, Jesus asks the disciples who people say that he is. And he does it to show them that they are beginning to see partly, but not yet fully. So he asks, "Who do people say that I am?" And that's when Peter steps in and confesses, "You are the Christ." So he's able to give the correct answer. He's like the kid in Sunday school that knows the answer is Jesus. So his optics are getting better. But as we've discussed, the disciples and others around them, they don't quite understand yet who Jesus is, or who the Christ is, the anointed one. And they don't understand how the Christ is going to deliver his people. Because when Jesus starts describing what it's going to cost him, that he's going to have to die and rise again, Peter insists that no, that's not going to happen. You're not going to have to die. And by extension, then, he's not going to rise again. If you'll remember, Jesus talked about the leaven of the Pharisees, and we talked about that being this dangerous trust in a self-righteousness that proves ourselves to God. And it's this same self-righteousness that we start to embrace when we stop seeing the cross as necessary. So we call it Good Friday when we see that someone else had to pay for our unrighteousness, and that it was the God who loved us and called us his own who stepped in to do that for us. So the natural man rejects this idea of somebody else having to pay for our sins, because it would mean that he has to lay aside everything that currently defines him. It's going to be his natural undoing to call all of his pride in whatever his worldly accomplishments are rubbish, in order that he might gain Christ. So when this happens, then, we become free to step away from those things and free to do God's actual will at last. And it's at that point that we'll become willing to pick up the cross like Jesus says we have to. We can pick up whatever cross he has for us, because to suffer like Jesus will mean to know him more, and eventually to be transformed to be more like him ourselves. So ultimately, when we trust that there must be a cross, we're able to trust that there will be a resurrection too. So may the Lord open our eyes this Good Friday to see Jesus and to look forward to his resurrection on Sunday. Thanks.